Malik, okay, so you
Yep.
used to be an Obama bro, and then you went to where?
Bernie.
And then you went,
Trump.
okay, explain. How did this happen?
Needs
Yeah,
explanation.
so, hey, I was a lifetime Democrat, probably the only Republican that I know of in my family, but I was a lifelong Democrat.
And you are, just for the record, you're from Mississippi.
Mississippi, from the
so
great Magnolia
a black person
State.
from Mississippi, which means you were a Democrat.
Good afternoon, YouTube. So I wanted to bring this video to you guys, and I'm going to do the format a little differently. I'm going to share clips throughout the video. So if you can, I know everybody's super busy, but if you can, watch to the end, because I want to basically introduce you guys to this guy. His name is Malik Abdul. He's a CNN political commentator. He's a GOP strategist, and it was very interesting to me because I often think to myself, like, some of these black conservatives, do they honestly believe what they're saying, or do they know, or is it politically expedient for them to be conservative? And I'll tell you why I say that. Because when you are working in politics, we know black people, African American people, we are not monolithic at all. We're not monolithic, but more of us are Democrats than we are Republicans. And so sometimes I believe that GOP strategists and black conservatives, sometimes they kind of position themselves as conservatives because they know it's politically expedient, and they know that they will get in spaces quicker. They will, I mean, because you have people that are, you know, black conservatives that are now being welcomed in the Republican Party. And the reason they're being welcomed because it's different to see black conservatives. It's different to get their perspectives. And I believe sometimes, not everybody on the right, not all right-wing people, but I believe sometimes it's appealing and appeasing to them to hear black people kind of talk negatively or talk down towards their own people. That is an actual thing. So I think it's actually being very opportunistic than actually being conservative. Sometimes, not everybody. I know that there's black conservatives that are truly conservatives. Those are truly their political ideologies. They lean more to the right. But I'm starting to pick up on some of these political commentators, some of these GOP strategists. A lot of times, I think that they're doing it for, I wouldn't say clout, but like notoriety. They're doing it because, like I said, it's going to be politically expedient, and they are going to get opportunities and get jobs because there's not as many black people and African American people that's in the conservative party. And so this guy, Malik Abdul, he's normally on Abby Tonight. I'm not exactly sure if you guys watch Abby Tonight, but Abby Tonight is Abby Phillips' show on CNN, and I love her show because her panel is conservatives, progressives, Democrats, Republicans. She basically bring everybody together from all different kind of walks of life, and they debate the issues. And so Malik Abdul, he's normally on there. And when I first was listening to him talk, I'm like, I don't think he believed what he's saying. I just got a feeling. I'm like, not to say there's not black conservatives. Absolutely there's black conservatives. But I'm like, I don't think he believed what he's saying. When he speaks, when he speaks, I'm like, he does not sound authentic to me. He does not come off as authentic. And so in this clip, and the clips that I'm going to show you throughout the video, Abby Phillips basically asked him, because he's from Mississippi, and so he said he started out basically Obama supporter, said he supported Obama twice. He voted for Obama twice. And then he went to Bernie, and he was a Bernie bro apparently. And then when Bernie didn't win, he went to Trump. I believe that because he doesn't cite any policies. You guys are going to see this, and you're going to see Touré. He's another panelist. He's on the panel as well, and they're having a debate, the conversation. Touré is getting so frustrated with him because what Malik is doing, he's talking about personality. You very suddenly hear him talk about policy. I think the only policy he cited was, he said something to the effect, well, maybe I'm not so pro-choice. And so that was the only policy that he cited, but everything else was about personality and him liking the person. And I started to think to myself, it like that light bulb went off, and I was just like, see, he does not know, like, he doesn't believe authentically in conservative values. He's going with personality. He likes Trump's personality. It's not necessarily policy driven. And to take it a step further, it is my belief he knows, like right now he's on CNN. Would he be on CNN? Would he be a strategist in the GOP and having these big opportunities and these big jobs if he was a Democrat? Not necessarily. I believe that black conservatives, they can kind of go up the rank a little bit easier because it's less black people in the conservative party, like I stated before, and it's appealing and appeasing to some people in right-wing media, some people in right-wing politics, to see black people talk negatively and talk down to other black people. Your Candace Owens, for instance. So they become very wealthy. They make a lot of money. They become millionaires because I believe their jobs is to be black agitators. It's to be antagonistic towards their people. And apparently that's big business. So I want to show you guys some clips how Malik keeps talking about personality and not policy. So you guys take a look at this.
Mississippi, which means you were a Democrat.
Yeah, longtime Democrat up until 2016. I had said that if the Democratic Party nominated Hillary Clinton, because I was against Hillary Clinton, Bill Clinton, all of that era of Democrats, I said that I was going to leave the Democratic Party. I was like,
Instead of personality.
oh, a number of things.
Because they weren't far left enough for you.
Oh, no.
No, the Clintons are terrible. I'm with you. I'm with you so far.
What's
I'm with you so
the
far.
problem with Hillary that Hillary alone would make you leave the Democratic Party?
I still don't. I didn't like what the Clintons represented when it came to the Democratic Party. I thought that there were too many people beholden to the Clintons, and I did not like the era of Clintons. I did not like Hillary Clinton talking about super predators. I didn't like none of that stuff. But so I left the Democratic Party. I said that, and in fact, believe it or not, I started thinking that I was going to vote for Jeb Bush because I said, if they nominate Hillary, I'll just switch over and vote for Jeb Bush.
All right, okay.
Well,
This is rational so far.
Well, Jeb Bush
flamed
got
out.
out. I think
Jeb
probably
exclamation point,
maybe in
flamed, yeah.
January
Yep.
So
of that year.
let me ask you. Okay, so there's Bernie. You went to Bernie.
Yep.
Why not Trump at that time?
Well, because I was still a Democrat. I said myself, I was like, okay, well, you know what? I'm still a Democrat, and to be honest,
What
I
are
was
the
working.
Democratic principles that you like?
Okay, so in this second clip, you can basically hear Malik talking about how he didn't like Hillary Clinton. He started, he voted for Obama twice. And then he was basically saying if the Democrats nominate Hillary Clinton, that he was going to switch over to Jeb Bush. Now, remember, he keeps talking about people, their personalities, the fact that he didn't like this particular person. He's not talking about anything regarding policy. And so Torre, one of the panelists, he's like, so you're talking about personality, not policy. And he was like, well, I didn't like Clinton saying super predators. Nobody liked that. But we're talking about actual political ideologies. We're talking about policies. We're talking about, what do you believe in? Are you more progressive? Do you believe in cutting spending? Do you believe in cutting tax? Like, what is it that you believe in? What are your ideologies? What are your political leanings? He's not talking about any of those things. He's only talking about personality. So he basically insinuated that he left the Democratic Party because he didn't like Hillary Clinton. He didn't like her. Not her policies, not Democratic policies. He didn't like her as a person. And this is the reason why I say, when he talks, I'm like, he don't believe what he's saying. There are some black conservatives, you can, Shermichael, for instance. I don't necessarily agree with Shermichael. Shermichael, I'm going to get his last name, but I don't necessarily agree with him. But you can tell he's conservative. He believes in those ideologies, and he's a black conservative. But this guy, Malik Abdul, I believe he's doing it for political expediency, because he keeps talking about people, their personalities. I didn't like Hillary Clinton. I didn't like the way, what would he say? it was some, basically he didn't like the fact that she said super predators, and then he goes on to say, well, I'm not necessarily pro-choice, but every other policy, every other political ideology, he never says anything about that. And that's the reason why you're going to see Touré gets extremely agitated, because he's like, you keep talking about personality and not policy. So you guys take a look at this.
Because I was still a Democrat. Like I said myself, I was like, okay, well, you know what? I'm still a Democrat, and to be honest,
What
I
are
was
the
working
democratic principles that you liked?
a number of. You know what? I'll say this. Until I became a Republican, I realized that I was, like many people, you're a product of your environment. So I grew up around Democrats. I just became a Democrat. I didn't know why I became a Democrat. I just became a
So
Democrat.
there were no democratic principles that you...
Well, I guess maybe the other question is, did you become more conservative, or were you always conservative?
What I realized in 2016, that I had conservative principles that I just suppressed?
Sure.
Because that's not the Democrat thing to do. So even as a Democrat, when I was like, you know what, I don't think I'm pro-choice.
Okay.
And people were around me like, well, you can't be
sure.
a Democrat there.
But my question to you, as a lifelong conservative and someone who, deeply believes in the principles of conservatism, what drew you to Trump? Because he's not conservative at all, not personally, and his policies, like protectionism and skyrocketing the debt and America First, none of that's conservative. So what drew you to Trump from a position of identifying as a conservative at that time?
Well, I didn't look at Trump as a conservative. Like, he wasn't. When I think of conservative or Republicans,
But he's not.
I look at people like one of my favorite, Condoleezza Rice.
Sure.
As I continue
Mitt
to say,
Romney, John McCain, right.
not John McCain, but
What?
not Mitt Romney.
What?
Well, I'm giving you my.
Who's your version of conservative?
I'm telling you.
Wait, you're saying John McCain is not conservative?
No. My.
You're-
Like
your jam.
when I was a
You're
Democrat.
a conservative that you would like, not that
When
he's
I
not
was a
conservative.
Democrat,
Okay.
there are
personalities?
when-
Because I hear no policies.
because I haven't been allowed to get
Okay.
to that point.
Fair enough.
When I was a Democrat, I looked at people like GW. I looked at people like Condoleezza Rice.
Yep.
Those are people that I said, I like, whether they were conservative, Republican, it really didn't matter. I like them.
Yeah, they were
Now,
great.
there were a number of things.
Personality.
It wasn't just personality. There were a number of other things. Now, people attacked George, G.W. Bush. Remember, Kanye West said, that he was racist. I started looking at those type of things, even in how we look at race. And that's how, during the Obama administration, I was one of those who, and I will admit, I had a lot of unfair expectations of Barack Obama as a black president. There were many things that I assumed, we got a black president now, so we about to be good up in here. And I realized that was just unfair to Barack Obama. But when I started looking at some of the actual policies, I realized, like, you know what? I like to keep more money in my pocket.
That all makes total
talk
sense. That makes total sense. And I had the same sort of awakening. I was younger. It happened at like 16, 17. But I had the same thing. I thought I was a Democrat. I started questioning their policies. I really started identifying with conservative policies. Trump is so repulsive. I don't mean personally. I mean politically to conservatism. I don't understand how you could, having identified your new level of
Okay,
conservatism.
so in this last clip, what you guys see him talking about is just policy. Just personality. He's not talking about policy. And I want to be very clear, and I want to be very intentional with what I'm going to say next. I am not a person who believes that if you're black, you have to be a Democrat. I personally am a Democrat. I personally am more progressive because I believe in the ideals and the ideologies. I believe in the platform. I believe in the policies. And they are aligned with my life and who I am as a person. With my family, my friends, my ideologies, they align with Democratic, more progressive leaning policies. And so I want to say that, but I also want to say I am not a person who believes because you're black you need to be a Democrat or you have to be a progressive. But Malik Abdul, I believe I'm pronouncing this last name correctly, he keeps talking about personality. And when I see black conservatives talk more about personality, or they like Trump because he's tough or whatever the case, what it says to me is you don't really believe in the platform. It's not the policies that you're identifying with. You're identifying with personality. And right now, I think with people who are kind of like MAGA or Trump supporters, you often hear them talk about his personality. He's a strong man. He doesn't take any stuff. He's all about America first. You very suddenly hear them talk about actual policies. Are they okay with cutting costs regarding the defense? Are they okay with cutting the military? So they're not citing policy, they're citing personality. And I remember, and I wanted to make this video because regarding Malik, I remember listening to him on Abby Phillips and thinking to myself, he don't believe what he's saying. If he is a conservative, he's not articulating his ideologies or his beliefs. He's just talking about people and personalities. And like I said, he went from Obama, he went to Bernie, he went to Trump. Those things don't necessarily make sense. I understand that Bernie and Trump has this kind of rebel outside of the normal political playbook. I understand that they're disruptors, but their policies are a world apart. So I do not understand personally someone saying I was a Bernie bro and then I went to Trump. That literally makes no sense to me, because Trump is all about cutting departments that help poor people, black and brown people, to give to ultra rich people. That's what he's about. And Bernie is the opposite. So how does somebody go Bernie Trump when the ideology, like Bernie is like against billionaires and Trump serves billionaires? So how do you go Bernie Trump? That makes no sense to me. And I kept getting this feeling whenever I would hear Malik talk, I would be like, he don't believe what he's saying. Every time he's on Abby Phillips tonight and there's a big debate, and when it's his time to talk, in my mind, that thought always popped in my mind. He don't believe what he's saying. So I wanted to bring these clips to you guys. I want to see if you guys see what I see. I just see him talking about personalities. I do not see him talking about policy. I think the only policy that he cited was, he was like, well, maybe I'm not pro-choice. That was the only policy. And you got conservative Democrats that are not pro-choice either. So if he was truly a Democrat, if he was truly a Democrat and not just kind of doing what is politically expedient, he could have still been a Democrat and not been pro-choice. But I don't think it's about whether he's a Democrat or Republican. I feel like he knows that in the Republican Party, he's going to move up quicker. He's going to get on these TV shows. He's going to be hired for these jobs, because for right-wing people, it's appealing, and not everybody, but for some right-wing people, it's appealing and appeasing to see a black person be against the Democratic Party. So they are often elevated to positions of power, and they become wealthy and they get money because it's unorthodox to see a black person speaking and as far as on TV and like legacy media. It is not a lot of black people that are saying that they are conservatives and they are a part of the Trump party. And so that now Trump got more, he got more black votes, but it's still very minimum when it comes to the support that Kamala Harris received. So I just kind of was thinking to myself, I said, I kind of wanted to do this video to see if you guys see what I see. I think Malik is behaving in a way that makes him, it's advantageous as far as his political career. I think it's about his career. I think it's about getting on TV. I think it's about being elevated to these positions that will take him longer if he was more Democratic or progressive leaning, because there's more black and brown people in the Democratic and progressive leaning spaces on legacy media, whether it's independent media. There's more black people who are progressive and Democrat than there are that's conservative. And I believe he's just playing politics. I think this is about opportunity. I think this is about getting into different spaces. I don't think this is policy driven. I think he likes Trump because he likes Trump personality. I don't think he necessarily believes in the policies. every time he talks about personality. He never talks about policy. So I just kind of want to bring that video to you guys and see if you guys agree with me. And and even if you disagree, I mean, that's totally fine. We can have we can talk and we can have open communication, and that's totally fine. But I just wanted to bring you guys this video, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye.